everyone, welcome to this tutorial. And yep, so I'm going to walk you through what's happening here. I'm about to create the run assignment I gave you guys, and I wanted to show you guys how I'll go about achieving my own result and techniques you can pick up to refine your own animation. And this animation, in this tutorial, I'll be focusing more on the graph editor, adding actions, editing actions, using the graph editor, and using the motion part 2. The motion part 2 can be found on this side, but don't worry, I'll show you that when we get there. So now I need to get my character from point A to point B. Okay, and in order to do this, I created a plane, I added some more subdivision, added a displace modifier, brought in a cube, same thing, displace modifier, sculpted it a bit to look like a rock, and added this was a cube, scaled it out, removed the faces on both sides, added a subdiv, added more geometry, added a display, sculpted it out to look like a twig, and this rock I just put it there to hold on to this top part. Now the whole direction of this animation is that my character is going to run, jump over this rock over here, and run. When he lands, he continues running and slides under this guy and ends somewhere here. So mind you, this is just a rough block out of the scene, so eventually I'll have to put some items over here to make it more reasonable while he will be jumping over this rather than going around it. So without further ado, let's proceed to this animation. How do we get this running? It's very simple. First of all, we have to extend the timeline. Sorry, I've already laid out some actions over here, but this is the one I'm working with, fast run, and you can see it's active. I'm going to disable the 2 above it first of all. So now if I should scroll back from frame 24 back to 0, you see it's running and the animation stops here. So we want this animation to extend all the way to 250. So I'm going to increase 254, sorry. I'm going to press N with my strip selected. I will make sure that I have the control rig underscore fast run selected, because that's what's playing right now. And I'm going to increase the repeat value. So I'll just scroll down and find the repeat value over here, and I would turn that up. I have to scroll out a bit, or let me collapse this side so that I can see here over. I'm clicking on the middle mouse button to pan to the left. And sorry, there's something I usually do for you guys, which is turn on my screencast key. I don't think you might need to see that so much in this tutorial, but let me just turn it on for those who are used to it already. And so I'll zoom this one out. I'm using my middle mouse. You can see over here, I'm using my middle mouse button to move forward and backward. If I continue moving left, it will continue to move. If I continue moving right, it will continue to move. So yeah, that's how I'm panning. Then I'm scrolling downwards to zoom out so that I can see this light gray area, which is where our animations are going to be playing from. Okay, so I'll increase the repeat value all the way to the end. Now you can see I'm starting with the animation because I know that my actions, the way they occur, is the character's momentum that he uses to push over these things, which means that there's little or no slowing down going on in this scenario. So basically it's being chased by something. If something is being chased by, you see it later on. I'm not there yet. Alright, so this is just a sequence. When I play the animation now, spacebar, you see he's running for the entirety of the frame. what do we want to do now? We're going to go to frame 1. We have to find a way to move this guy from the beginning, beginning to the end. So what I'll do is that I'll go into pose mode. You can do that by coming here to object mode, this drop down, there's edit, you go to pose mode, but you can see I have a shortcut D. So for the remainder of this video I'm going to be using D as that. If you can't see D over here and you want to use D like me, you can just right click on pose mode and it will tell you add shortcut. For me it's change because I already have one there, so you can just click on it and it will tell you to tap on the button you want to use as a shortcut, and once you do that it becomes assigned. And my when I'm in pose mode, you can see to go back to object mode I put Alt D. So you can, the same way we did it just now, just press Alt D when it asks you for the button you want to use instead. So Alt D, back to object mode, D, I'm here. So now the mixable rig, the bone responsible for moving the character, is the control master here. So this is the guy we want to animate right now, and I'm going to start the animation by pressing K. Mind you, I'm in frame 1. Look at my I think I should change this into my, okay, it's in the timeline already. So I'll scroll this up so that you can see it, but I also want you to look over here too in the action editor. So mind you, if you go to the animation tab over here, I think we should do this in the animation tab. I customized my layout over here to suit it. So when you go to animation tab, you immediately see the dope sheet, and when you click on this one down here, you see that your timeline is also here. Yeah, but this one, this place is just for you to view animation. I'm going to change this into my non-linear animation, okay, because I need this guy to show my workings. So that being said, I have this guy selected. I'll press K to give me the option, what do you want to key? I'll be like, I want to key the location. So once I do that, I'm going to change this dope sheet into action editor. You see it immediately creates a new action. Yes, so I'm going to rename this action CR control rig underscore move character. Yes, so when I look at the strip in my timeline, I know that that's the strip that's responsible for moving my character from point A to point B. Yes, you can see all the strips, the action strips, they all have their name: CRO fast run, CRO jump, and all that. Okay, so now I have my first keyframe at the beginning, and I will move. I'll bring on my side toolbar. You can click on this arrow or press shortcut key T to bring this out. So after bringing this out, what you want to do is click on the move icon here and move it. First of all, turn on your auto keyframe. So I'm going to turn this guy on so that when I move it, it will automatically store the end location for me. But in order for me to move it, remember you have to first of all take your playhead, which shows your current frame, to the last frame, because that's where to store the keyframe. So I'm going to move the character all the way to the end here, like so. Yeah, and now when I go back to frame 1, the way you do that, sorry, I have to turn on my screencast key again. For some reason, when you switch your distance, it disappears, so I have to turn it off and turn it on again to enable it. So I'll press shift and backwards key, and alright, so I know you can see these cameras, don't worry about that. I had prepared that to show you how to work with your cameras and all that. So now when I press play, you see our character, it starts the action slow, then it slowly progresses into a fast action. You can see that. So I'm going to change what I have here for this guy and change it into the graph editor. Okay, and I will show you exactly why I'm doing this. And so now you can see my graph editor. You can see that there is one it's stored for the red location, but he also stored for Z location, because this bone's local rotation Z is facing this direction for the bone. You know, when we're using global, we're using the world's orientation, which is blue up and down, X sideways, and green front and back. But when you switch into this, it's better you switch into this when you're animating, because it shows you the actual direction of the bone, so you know what curve to look for. And you can see in the graph editor, you can see that this red one, obviously when you look at the red direction, you know that this is what adjusts your X axis, your direction. It moves your direction, your character in the X or Y axis. And if I scroll down, you can see we only have location because I use K to store the location of the movement of that bone. Okay, so now what was I trying to say? First of all, we know that Z is moving this guy forward like this, and that's the only location we need. So we're going to delete both Y and X so that our screen is not cluttered. So you can press A, then you can press the period key, which is full stop, to bring into frame the curve. So, but for me, I changed my shortcuts, which you can do by coming in File. You can see Frame Selected. So you can just click here to do it, or assign a shortcut. I think the default shortcut is period key, but I changed mine to F, like Find, because it's similar to Unreal Engine. Okay, so when I click on F, it's going to bring everything into frame, and you can immediately see that the nature of this curve is like an S. So, which means that there is easing into the ascension or the movement forward, and there's ease out. That's why when we play this animation, you see it starts very slow over here before picking up speed. Okay, so but if you can see here, my action starts with him in the pose, which means that he's already running. Yes, he's not starting to run, he's already in the motion of running. So what I'll do is I'll press A in my graph editor to select all the keyframes, which is both this one and this one, and I'll right click and change the interpolation mode to linear. You can see that immediately changes into the straight line. But I'm going to walk you through something right now, which are the various type of interpolation. Now when I put it on linear, you see his speed is constant. It's like we have 10 frames and our character moves 10 meters. So linear interpolation means that Blender is going to divide the distance we covered, which is 10 meters, by 10 frames, which means that each frame is going to move 1 meter to the front. Okay, so that's how it's interpreted. But when I move into Bezier, is already the ease in and ease out, which was the default state when we did we keyframed those locations. But the next one I want to show you is constant. Constant, basically, you can see, I think I should expand this. For constant, you see it maintains the same position. That means it's not moving until it gets to the last frame, then it switches. So I'll play that for you so that you can see. Sorry, I like to turn on my wireframe and try and get reduce the opacity. So wireframe here, then reduce the opacity so that it's not that. But I just like to see a little bit of the details of the geometry. Alright, so you see I play the action, character remains at the same spot. But once I get to the end, I'm going to get to the end now because there are only 2 keyframes for this bone I selected. So I'll tap up direction. You see when it gets to the last frame, it enters into this pose right here, like it comes to this location. But if I was to press back there in my left direction, left arrow, you see that he jumps back here, which means that he's going to maintain this position until he sees another keyframe where there is a change. That's when it changes. So I'll press up arrow, I'll press the up arrow again. Sorry, I think I might have deselected the bone. So I'll quickly draw this down, change this into my properties, go to object properties over here, and viewport, and put in front, so that I'll be able to select it through the floor. Okay. So when I select this and I press up, you can see it goes to the next frame where there's a keyframe, and it comes back like that. So what we want, we've already done it. I just want to use this opportunity to give you small insight into your interpolation modes. So now, with both keyframes selected in the graph editor, I'm going to change it back to linear because we want it to have a constant motion. So with this, we've come to the end of this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.